Now we will quickly continue from where we stopped in part 12, giving you Expo questions, expected preparatory questions for you in physics. Number 1, what is the least possible error encountered when taking measurement with a meter rule? What is the least? This one doesn't require using calculator or any formula. The answer is just the answer. What is the least possible error encountered when taking measurement with a meter rule? The answer is simple. The answer is C, 0.5 millimeter. The answer is C. The least possible error to be encountered when taking measurement with a meter rule is C, 0.5 millimeter. Now let's look at this. A quantity which requires magnitude and direction to be specified is dash. A quantity that requires magnitude and direction to be specified is dash. A, temperature. B, distance. C, displacement. D, mass. A quantity which requires, we have scalar quantities and vector quantities. Scalars don't require direction, but vectors require both magnitude and direction. The quantity which requires magnitude and direction to be specified is dash. A, temperature. B, distance. C, displacement. D, mass. The answer is C, displacement. Displacement requires the magnitude and the direction for the direction of the displacement, right? I have assignment for you, assignment number 1 in this part 13. Come under the comment and tell me the difference between scalar quantities and vector quantities, and give me 3 examples each. 3 examples of scalar quantities, 3 examples of vector quantities. Okay, remember that for those of you that will watch this video till the end, I'm going to give you free JAMB syllabus and free JAMB past questions. If you have not gotten free JAMB syllabus and free JAMB past questions from me, just watch this video till the very end. 1. Look at this question. Number 3 is very technical. Electrical potential. B, torque. C, kinetic energy. I. Electrical potential. I. Torque. I. Kinetic energy. IV. Momentum. Which of the quantities listed are vectors? Remember, I told you we have scalar quantities and vector quantities. Which of them are vectors? A, I and IV. B, I and IV is torque and momentum. B, I and I, electrical potential and torque. C, I and I, that is electrical potential and kinetic energy. D, I and I. The answer is A. The one that is vector quantity requiring magnitude and direction is A. And that A is torque and momentum. Okay? We now continue going. Okay. Which type of motion do the wheels of a moving car undergo? You see the wheel of a car. It's in motion, right? It's moving. What type of motion? Which type of motion do the wheels of a moving car undergo? A, vibratory and translational motion. B, random and translational motion. C, rotational and oscillatory motion. D, translational and rotational motion. Let me take the question again. Which type of motion do the wheels of a moving car, we all know a moving car and the wheel, undergo? A, vibratory and translational motion. B, random and translational motion. C, rotational and oscillatory motion. D, translational and rotational motion. The answer is D. The wheel in a car that is moving is having translational motion and rotational motion. Of course, it is translating from one place to the other, and it's also rotating from one place as it moves, as it translates. Okay? See this question. One of the conditions necessary for an object to be in equilibrium when acted upon by a number of parallel forces is that the vector sum of the forces is dash. Pay attention. One of the conditions, by the way, remember what you are watching now is part 13 of all the videos we've done on physics. We started from part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 until part 10. Then after part 10 we did part 11, part 12, and you are now watching part 13. After part 13 we also do part 14, part 15, and all the rest. If I were you, I will ask for all of them so that you can start from part 1 to watch. After watching part 1 with your pen and paper, you also watch part 2, all of them. So if you would want me to give you access, the link to all of the videos we've done on physics for JAMB candidates, giving you Expo questions, practical questions, expected questions, past question and answer. If you want me to give you all of them, just come under this video and type, "Sir, please give me all the videos you've done on physics." Give me the link to all the videos you've done on physics and you could get all of them. Okay, back to question 8. One of the conditions necessary for an object to be in equilibrium when acted upon by a number of parallel forces is that the vector sum of the forces is dash. A. When you sum all the forces acting on the body, for the body to remain at equilibrium without moving, is that the vector sum of the forces is A, average, B, 0, C, negative, D, positive. The answer is simple. The answer is 0. If it is not 0, if it is either positive or negative, then the object will start moving. It will no longer remain in equilibrium. Okay. Look at this question. What happens when 3 coplanar non-parallel forces are in equilibrium? What happens when 3 coplanar non-parallel forces are in equilibrium? A. Their lines of actions are parallel. B. They are represented in magnitude only. C. They are represented in direction only. D. Their lines of action meet at a point. What happens when 3 coplanar non-parallel forces are in equilibrium? A. Their lines of action are parallel. I want you to pay attention. Recall, I often tell you that as you are watching this video, watch it with rapt attention. Don't watch it like somebody watching a movie or somebody watching a football match. This is not Man U versus Chelsea. Okay? Watch it with all your attention. Let nothing distract you. What happens when 3 coplanar non-parallel forces are in equilibrium? The answer to question 9 is D. Their lines of action meet at a point. Their lines of action, once they are in equilibrium, their lines of action will meet at a point. Okay. Question number 10. This one I will show you how it is solved. An object of mass 20 kg is released from a height of 10 meters above the ground level. The kinetic energy of the object just before it hits the ground is dash. So we're trying to find kinetic energy. An object of mass, remember M is 20 kg and H, the height, is 10 meters. And to find the kinetic energy, let me show you how I was able to solve it. Just follow me. Just follow. Let's look at. Let me show you how we're able to solve it for question 10. Kinetic energy is simply the mass times force of gravity times height, right? So 20. Remember I told you that mass is 20, right? Mass times force of gravity, gravitational pull, that's constant, 10 times 10. Times 10, the height, okay? mgh, that is the formula for kinetic energy. That's why it is 20 times 10 times 10, giving us what? Giving us 2,000 joules. 2,000 what? Giving us 2,000 joules. I hope you learned that one. We will now proceed. The answer, which option is 2,000 joules? Let's look for it. We can see that C is the answer. C is the answer. Some people will make the mistake of choosing A, 200, by just multiplying 20 times M. But no, the formula is mgh. That G is constant gravitational pull. That is force of gravity. That is 10. Okay? 20 times 10 times the height, which is 10 meters according to this question. Okay, we now move on. Question number... I hope you are following. Remember also that beyond this one, I've done several other videos on chemistry, physics, biology. I've done videos on use of English, economics, mathematics, government, literature, economics. Anyone, if you want me to give you all of the videos we've done, for those of you that are full members, if you are a registered member of our YouTube channel and you want me to give you all those things, just let me know. But first, you must be a member of our channel. The energy in the nucleus of atoms produce heat which can be used to generate dash. The energy in the nucleus, of course you know the nucleus at the center. The nucleus contains both the neutron and the proton. Electron is always revolving around at the shell. The nucleus in the energy in the nucleus of atoms produce heat which can be used to generate dash. A, kinetic energy. B, mechanical energy. C, electrical energy. D, potential energy. Let's ask the question again. The energy in the nucleus of atoms produce heat which can be used to generate dash. A, kinetic energy. B, mechanical energy. C, electrical energy. And D, potential energy. The answer is simple. The answer is A, kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. Say it. Kinetic energy. Okay? Look at this question. I don't know why JAMB like asking this particular question. Let me show you. Question number 15. JAMB often catch candidates with this question. The small drops of water that form in the grass in the early hours of the morning is dash. Remember, if you watch part 12 or part 11, you will see that I gave you this as an assignment because JAMB is always asking it. The small droplet of water that forms on the grass in the early hours of the morning is dash. A, fog. B, hail. C, mist. D, dew. The small droplets of water that forms on the grass in the early hours of the morning, is it fog? Is it hail? Is it mist? Is it dew? What do you think is the answer to question 15? The answer is simple. The answer is dew. Dew. Morning dew. Morning dew. Morning dew. Morning dew. Okay? Now look at question number 16. What is the equivalent of 20 Kelvin in Celsius scale? You know temperature is measured in Kelvin and also in Celsius. You can say 20 degrees Celsius and there's also measurement in Kelvin. But how do you convert from Kelvin to Celsius? What is the equivalent of 20 Kelvin to Celsius? You should remember that when you want to convert to Celsius, you just add 273. In whatever number they give you, you must add 273. Okay, if you are converting from Kelvin to Celsius, add 273. If you are converting back from Celsius to Kelvin, you minus 273. So 20 plus 273 will give us 293. So the answer for question B is, question 16 is B, because 273 plus 20, I hope you are following. 273 plus 20 will give you 293. Now I want you to do this for me as an assignment. Convert 400 Celsius back to Kelvin. Convert 400 C to Kelvin. Convert for me in this assignment number 2 I'm giving you. Convert 400 Celsius to Kelvin. Let me know if you really understand this. Okay, we now move on, please. Remember that if you want me to give you any of the videos we've done, any of them, you can just ask me in the comment section and it will be yours. If you want me to give you all of the videos we've done on physics, chemistry, any of those subjects, you can just ask me in the comment section and I could give you the link. But that will be for those that are already registered members of our YouTube channel, Noble Tutorials. Okay? If you want to register, if you want to be a full member, I will tell you how to do that at the end of this video. Okay? The quantity of heat needed to raise temperature of a body by 1 Kelvin is the body's dash. I've always treated this question. If you followed me from part 1, you will see that I've always treated this question. Okay? The quantity of heat needed to raise the temperature of a body by 1 Kelvin is the body's dash. A. Heat capacity. B. Internal energy. C. Specific heat capacity. D. Latent heat capacity. The quantity of heat needed to raise the temperature of a body by 1 Kelvin is simply the heat capacity. The what? The heat capacity of the body. That is option A, heat capacity. We move on. Question number 19. The melting point of a substance is equivalent to its dash. I don't think I've treated this question before. The melting point of a substance is equivalent to its dash. A. Vapor pressure. B. Solidification temperature. C. Liquidification temperature. D. Solidification pressures. In option 19, look again. The melting point of a substance is equivalent to its dash. A. Vapor temperature. B. Solidification temperature. C. Liquidification temperature. And D. Solidification pressure. In the next part 14, we will continue from question 19. For now, for you to receive free JAMB syllabus and free JAMB past question, and for you to get all the links to other videos we've done both in physics and other subjects, there are 4 things you have to do. Number 1 is compulsory, and that number 1 is for you to become a full member of our YouTube channel. If you are yet to be a full member of this channel, then you can't get anything from us. For you to be a full member, number 1 thing you have to do is to join our YouTube channel. When you join, you become a full member. Just click on join. Don't dodge it. Click on join and become a full member of our YouTube channel. That is 1. Number 2 is for you to like this video. Click on like. If you like this video, like this video. Number 3 is for you to, when you like this video, then go ahead and share this video. Click on share. Share this video to your WhatsApp groups, your Facebook friends, everywhere JAMB candidates are gathered. Share it on Telegram, on Twitter, and other platforms. Then finally, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. But before you do all those things, the number 1 and basic thing is for you to be a full member of our channel by joining. Once you join, like, share, subscribe. When you subscribe, come under this video and type, I have subscribed. Do what? Come under this video and type, I have subscribed. Once I see you type, I will subscribe, I will chat you up and send to you all the materials. But then you must have become a member and answered all the assignments I gave you in this video. I'm leaving a very crucial video for you on the screen. I'm leaving it for you free of charge. Click on it and watch now.